Imagine working 40 years as a teacher, giving your all to kids, only to find out a hidden rule cuts your Social Security money in half. That happened to me, and it left me feeling cheated, but I'm figuring out how to move forward. Stay with me to hear my story. It's about a tough surprise and a fight to make ends meet, and it might help you too. My name is Margaret, and I'm 67 years old, living in a quiet apartment in Georgia with a little balcony where I used to grow tomatoes. I spent my life teaching second graders, standing in front of a chalkboard, helping kids learn to read and write. My hands are a little wrinkled now, and my hair is gray, but I always felt proud of my work. After 40 years, I thought my retirement would be cozy, with Social Security helping me pay for my medicines and groceries. But a few months ago, everything changed. I got a letter from the Social Security Administration, SA, saying my monthly check would be much smaller than I expected, only about $800 instead of the $1,600 I'd planned on. I sat at my kitchen table, staring at that paper, feeling like someone had pulled the rug out from under me. How can this be? I asked myself, my heart sinking. I'd worked hard, paid into Social Security every year, and now it felt like that effort didn't matter. The letter mentioned something called the Windfall Elimination provision, or WEP. I didn't know what that meant at first. My pension from teaching, which I earned because I worked for the state, was part of the problem. I felt betrayed, like I'd been tricked after all those years of teaching kids to be honest and fair. Social Security is like a promise, a safety net that catches you when you stop working. It's money you get based on what you paid into it over your life. But for some of us, like teachers or government workers with pensions, there's a rule called the Windfall Elimination provision. The SSA explains it on their website, opening parenthesis ssa.gov, as a way to adjust benefits. If you have a pension from a job that didn't pay into Social Security. For me, that meant my teaching pension lowered my Social Security, even though I thought I'd earned every penny. I called my friend Clara, who's 70 and also a retired teacher, and she said the same thing happened to her. We felt angry and lost, like we were being punished for doing a job we loved. I didn't know how I'd manage with half the money I'd counted on. My savings are small, and my rent keeps going up. I started worrying about how I'd buy my heart medicine or keep the heat on in winter. Have you ever gotten a surprise like this with your Social Security? Tell me about it in the comments side. Love to know I'm not alone. I tried to figure out what to do, but the more I learned, the more confused I got. Would I find a way to make this work, or would I lose the retirement I dreamed of? Keep watching to see how I'm coping. The first few weeks after that letter were tough. I sat on my balcony, looking at my wilted tomato plants, feeling like my plans had dried up too. My Social Security check of $800 a month wasn't enough to cover my $600 rent, let alone food and medicine. I'd saved a little from my teaching days, but it was meant for emergencies, not everyday life. I felt like I was carrying a heavy backpack with no end in sight. I called the SSA to ask about the Windfall Elimination provision. The person on the phone was nice, but the answer was complicated. They said, WEP reduces your Social Security if you have a pension from a job not covered by Social Security, like my teaching job. It's supposed to be fair, they said, but to me, it felt unfair. I'd paid into Social Security from part-time jobs before teaching, and I thought that counted. The reduction formula took away almost half my benefit, and I couldn't wrap my head around it. The frustration grew every day. I'd spent my life helping kids, staying late to grade papers, and now I felt like the system didn't care. My arthritis acts up more now, and I need medicine that costs $50 a month. I started skipping doses to save money, which made my hands ache worse. I'd sit in my chair by the window, watching neighbors walk their dogs, feeling jealous of their carefree smiles. "Why me?" I'd whisper, tears stinging my eyes. My son, David, who's 45 and lives in the next town, came to visit. He saw me counting pennies to buy groceries and got upset. "Mom, this isn't right," he said, his voice tight. We looked online together, reading AARP articles about WEP, which said it affects about 2 million people, mostly teachers and public workers. David wanted to fight it, but I wasn't sure where to start. The weight of it all made me feel old and tired. I went to the local SSA office, a plain building with long lines. A worker with gray hair like mine explained that WEP is a law set by Congress, and there's no easy fix unless it changes. She gave me a form to appeal, but said it probably wouldn't change much. I filled it out at home, my hands shaking as I wrote, hoping for a miracle. The process took weeks, and each day without a decision felt like waiting for rain in a drought. I tried to cut costs. I turned down the heat, wore extra sweaters, and stopped buying fresh fruit. My neighbor, Mr. Patel, a 70-year-old widower, noticed I wasn't myself and brought me some apples from his tree. "We help each other," he said, with a kind smile. It warmed my heart, but it didn't solve the money problem. I even thought about going back to tutoring, but my energy isn't what it used to be. Just when I thought I'd have to give up my apartment, I got a letter from the SSA about my appeal. Would it bring good news, or would I be stuck with this cut forever? Have you ever had to adjust your life because of a rule like this? Share your thoughts in the comments side. Love to hear your ideas. The SSA letter wasn't a full win, but it was a start. My appeal didn't reverse the windfall elimination provision, but they found a small error in my records and added $100 to my monthly check, bringing it to $900. I sat at my kitchen table, reading the letter, feeling a mix of relief and disappointment. It wasn't the $1,600 I'd hoped for, but it was something a little light in a dark room. David helped me adjust. He found a part-time job for me at a community center, reading stories to kids a few hours a week. It pays $200 a month, and I love being with the children again. My hands still ache, but the joy of teaching keeps me going. We also applied for help from a local senior program, which covers some of my medicine costs. Slowly, I started to feel like I could breathe again. Social Security is like a big umbrella, meant to shield us in retirement, but rules like the windfall elimination provision can make holes in it. The SSA says WEP adjusts benefits for people with pensions from jobs not fully covered by Social Security, like my teaching job source, ssa.gov. It's been around since 1983, and while it aims to be fair, many retirees like me feel it punishes us for our careers. There's talk of reforms. Some lawmakers want to change it, but for now, I'm learning to live with it. I've learned 2 things that might help you. First, check your Social Security statement at ssa.gov every year to see what you'll get, and spot any surprises Early it's like peeking at a recipe before you cook. Second, if you have a pension, ask the SSA about WEP when you're close to retiring, so you're not shocked like I was. My balcony is blooming again. I planted new tomatoes, and they're starting to grow, a sign of hope for me. David visits more, bringing his kids, and we laugh together over dinner. The betrayal still stings. 40 years of work, cut down by a rule I didn't know about, but I'm finding my way. I joined a group of retired teachers who share tips on managing with WEP, and we're even writing letters to Congress about changing it. We deserve better, I told them, and they nodded. I feel stronger now, like a tree that bends but doesn't break. My story isn't perfect, but it's mine, and I'm proud of how I'm handling it. The community center kids call me Miss Margaret, and that warms my heart more than I can say. My journey with the Social Security Windfall Elimination provision shows how tough life can get, but also how we can adapt. If this story helped you understand this rule or gave you hope, please like this video and subscribe for more tales like mine. Share it with a friend who might face this too. It could make a big difference. What would you do if you faced a cut like this? Let me know in the comments. We can learn from each other. My tomatoes are growing, and I'm growing too, finding new ways to enjoy my retirement despite the windfall elimination provision. Thanks for listening to my story, and I'll see you in the next video with more to share.